Welcome to this video for EFT Processing for Sage Intacct. My name's Anne from Orchid Systems, and in this video I'm going to run through how you can streamline Sage Intacct payment and receipt processing using electronic funds transfer. Why would you use EFT Processing? EFT Processing automates the creation of the EFT files for your bank, leading to increased efficiency, accuracy, and security. You can eliminate expensive paper checks. You can avoid the duplicate data entry for a quick return on investment. EFT Processing integrates seamlessly with Sage Intacct accounts payable for the vendor payments, accounts receivable for your customer direct debits, and time and expenses for your employee reimbursements. A little bit about Orchid. We have over 7,000 Sage sites in over 80 countries, and we've been developing add-ons for Sage for a number of years now. We are supported by over 450 business partners around the world. We are based in Sydney, Australia, and have received over 10 industry awards for our modules. At this stage, we have 20 integrated Sage add-ons, the most recent one being Sage Intacct EFT Processing. EFT Processing creates the EFT payment and direct debit files in the format required by your bank. It's integrated with the Sage Intacct payment and receipt processing routines. We have a common mapping engine and file formats that work across multiple products. This means from day one we support over 800 banks and formats from over 80 countries, and others can be created on request. We support all the types of domestic payments, cross-border payments, positive pay, wire payments, NACHA or the North American Clearinghouse, the CPA 005 standards for Canada, SEPA for Europe, ISO 2022, BPay in Australia, Payway, etc. We also support user-definable formats if you want to create your own formats. The EFT banking details for the vendors, customers, employees, and the banks are held by EFT Processing within the Sage Intacct instance. We support user-definable screen labels and tooltips to reflect the bank's terminology and requirements to simplify the data entry. We have extensive audits of the EFT files created, as well as changes to banking details. And we use industry-leading WebAssembly technology, so the mapping of your banking information takes place within your own environment, not on a third-party site. Orchid's EFT is developed in Sage Intacct with the Sage Intacct development environment, providing a familiar Sage Intacct look and feel, plus the standard security and customization capabilities that you expect with a Sage Intacct screen. And all the data is stored within your Sage Intacct instance. And these are the menu options you have, which I'll be running through shortly. But first, a little overview on how our EFT works. So whether you're using EFT for vendor payments, accounts receivable, direct debits, or employee expenses, it works the same way. You enter and post and approve the AP payment, the AR payment, or the employee reimbursement. So you use the Sage Intacct processing to post the original payments. And then you use EFT processing to select those payments that you want to include in an EFT file, generate the EFT file, download the file, upload or import or SFTP to the bank, and once the bank is confirmed, you confirm the EFT file. From an employee reimbursement perspective, first you'd use the Sage Intacct time and expenses options to enter and approve and post the employee reimbursements. And then you would use Orchid's EFT employee payment request screen to select those payments, and you'll be selecting only payments posted for employees who are configured for EFT against a bank account which is configured for EFT. So you would select those payments and generate the EFT file. And then you would use the EFT file list to download the file, and then use the bank software or your SFTP software to import or upload or SFTP that file through to the bank. And once the bank confirms that the file has been uploaded, you would come back to the EFT file list and confirm the file. Should the bank give you information that one of the employees' bank account details were incorrect, or your own bank account details were incorrect, or there was something wrong with the format of the file, you could hold the file, then go and amend the EFT banking details against the employee or your bank, come back and refresh the file, which would create you a new EFT file with the new details, and you would still have a copy of the old file that you could view and a record that that file was created. And then with the new file, you would download, use the bank software or SFTP to import, upload, or SFTP the file, and once confirmed by the bank, you would use EFT file list to confirm that file. This is the EFT employee payment request screen. Here we can filter on any of the columns to create a subset of those payments that are waiting to go. So we could filter by currency, we could filter by payment amount or payment date, we could filter by bank or format code, or you could select all the payments. And what EFT will do when you click generate, it will create you an EFT file per bank and file format combination. On the screen you can also hyperlink to the employee to check the EFT details, or you could hyperlink to the transaction to confirm that's the one that you want to be paying now by EFT. Once you've generated the file, you can then view the contents of the file from the EFT file list. You can download the file, and once uploaded to the bank, you'd be able to confirm the file. From here, you can also hyperlink to the EFT bank setup or the format if you need to. And it's also on this screen that you could use hold and refresh if you do need to make changes to the EFT banking details, either on the bank or the format or on the employee. And this is the process I'm going to show you now. For employee expenses, EFT Processing allows you to send any posted reimbursements for your employees who are configured for EFT and the payment has been posted against a bank that is configured for EFT. So any of these posted payments can be bundled up into an EFT file for the bank to transact the payment. And you can use the employee payment requests, so the EFT employee payment request screen, which can be run from that menu or from the Orchid EFT employee payment requests option. So this screen will show you all the payments which have been posted against employees using a bank account that's configured for EFT and the employees have been configured for EFT, which have not yet been included in an EFT file. So that's the filter I'm looking at. Show all the payments that are not in any EFT file, filtered by this date range. So from here I could select by currency if I only wanted to do my US dollar payments first and then my British pound sterling payments after that. I could filter by amounts if I only wanted to do payments less than $1,000, something like that, or by payment method, employee name, or employee ID. Or I could just select all of them. And EFT will create an EFT file per bank and format combination. So I'm going to get one file for my US dollar 100 CHK bank account formatted for the ACH IAT for my international transfers. Another file for my 100 CHK US dollar bank account for my NACHA domestic payments. This would go into the international payments file, domestic payments file, and so on for my 100 CHK file. This particular payment would go out as a pre-notification to the bank to verify the banking details. And then for my 500 CHK pound sterling bank account, I would also get 2 files, 3 payments included for the ACH IAT International Transfers format, and 1 payment in this file formatted for the Bank of Scotland International CSV format. So you don't need to pre-select by bank account or currency or format. You can just click Generate. And because all the payments that I'm filtering to see have now been included in a file, when we come back to the screen, all these payments are going to drop off the list, and EFT has created 5 files for us to upload to the associated banks. We can also use this screen to see those which are included in a file, or all if we want to see those payments which we have included and which ones are ready to go, but also subject to these filters. So if I change my date filter, I'm now seeing all the payments that I've generated recently, plus some other payments which are still waiting to go. And then you would use the EFT file list to view the contents of the file, download the file, and confirm the file. So if we look at these files that we've just created, the first one for our NACHA domestic expense payments, we've got 4 payments in this file and the status is new. We can view the contents of this file. So here we can see the details of the EFT bank record that will be included, plus the 4 individual payments that are being made to employees. So if we need to check anything here, we can. And then we could go ahead and download the file. When we download the file, the status of the file will become exported. It has named the file based on my naming convention set up on the EFT bank. And if we open up this file, we can see that's our NACHA domestic payment file structure. And the status has become exported. So now I'd upload that file to the bank, or SFTP to the bank, depending on how you get that bank into that file across to the bank. And then once the bank has confirmed that it's uploaded 4 payments totaling $29,806, we could come back and confirm here. Once confirmed, we can still view and download the file, but we can't make any changes to that file. But looking perhaps at the next file, which has got 3 payments for the NACHA ACH IAT, let's say we were viewing this file and we noticed that one of the employees' bank account details were incorrect, or even the details on our bank was incorrect. What we could do is hold this file, and hold will change the status of the file to on hold. And now we could go to the employee's record to amend details, or we could go to the bank account to amend details. So for example, if they had said that our originator ID for this particular bank account or the client ID was incorrect, we could come here and change the client ID. And then back on the EFT file list, we can resize any of these columns, and it is remembered by user. Back on this EFT file list, we could now refresh. And what refresh does is it makes a copy of the old file. You still have it. All you can do is view it, and you can link to it from the new file to see the details that were in that file and who created it at what date and time. And we now have a new file which has the new banking details that we've just amended. So still 3 payments, still NACHA ACH IAT, but the status is new. So we could then download this one. And here we're seeing some validations as applied by the bank account itself as well. So we see that our branch code is too short. and the bank account is too short. So certain types of validations could be done as part of the EFT export as well. So we would need to go back to our bank account, increase or put the correct branch number in, change the bank account details on our employee 1005, come back and refresh the file again, and then would be able to download and export. And that's really the process of EFT processing for employee reimbursements. The setup that's required for this would be to load your formats, configure your banks for those formats so you can have multiple formats associated with multiple bank accounts. And if we look, for example, on our 100 CHK ACH IIT, which is the one I first exported, this is where you would define what the file name is. This is where you would fill in your client ID, the banking code, etc. So all of these is information that's required in the bank. We are able to relabel these based on the bank's terminology. And we are also able, as you can see, to give tooltips on the different fields to help you enter the information correctly. And so you can configure the Nacha ACH IIT against your $100 USD bank account, your $200 USD bank account, so as many bank accounts as that use the same format, but you also can have multiple different formats for the same bank. So here I can do my international transfers as well as my domestic transfers, all from the same bank account. After you've configured the EFT bank details for the format that you're using in time and expenses on your employees, you would also need to configure those employees that you're going to pay via EFT. And I've created a view to show me my banking details so I can see which ones I have filled in. And the way that is done, if you go to edit one of the employee records on the Orchid EFT tab, you would select the file type to be used for this particular employee, and then the fields will be turned on and the appropriate labels given. So for my Nacha domestic payments, I need to know the type of account that the deposit is going to go into. So is it a checking account or a savings account, plus the account details. So that would be filled in for all of your employees, and it can be imported. So you'd fill in one, to create yourself a template, and then import from Excel, and then you're ready to go. You're ready to do your EFT payments. Thank you for your time in viewing this demonstration video. If you have any questions or if you require further information, please go to our website, orchid.systems, and there you will also find full demonstration videos on creating EFT files for your AR customer direct debits and your AP vendor payments. Thanks for your time in viewing this video.